Hi guys, how are you? Happy Friday. Let me know if you are on, if you're watching, if you are out there somewhere. Just let me know if you can see me and hear me. All right, so today is day 5 of our challenge. So what we're really going to talk about today is just kind of wrapping things up for the week. And I really want to go over what I feel are the top 3 ways to really protect our energy during the holiday season. So when we're in this stream of holiday events or parties, things at work, things with friends, things with extended family, right? So if we are, hey, how are you? So if we're in these situations where we're feeling like our energy is sort of being sucked and pulled, maybe in ways that it typically isn't, or there's just more demands on us during this period of time. We talked a lot about kind of what to do. One, to identify ways that our energy is being drained, and then 2, what to do about it. So today, as sort of our wrap up, I'm going to talk about 3 of the most important things, 3 of the top ways I think. Oh, thank you. 3 of the top things I think that will help you during this holiday season. So we went through a lot of this week. So it's really kind of just culminating all the things that we talked about this week. So one is going to be grounding, right? And I know that we talked about a variety of different ways to do it. My favorite is the tree roots into the ground version. So if you have time to close your eyes, take a deep breath, and just imagine whatever part of your body is touching the ground, that there are tree roots coming from your feet and going deep into the earth, going deep into the ground, right? So really rooting you, centering you, connecting you with the present moment, bringing you back into your body. If you feel like you're sort of being disconnected from your body, pulled away on someone else's roller coaster or someone else's chaos that they've brought to you. So being able to really root yourself in the ground and root yourself sort of mentally, right? Centering yourself is going to be so important. Doing it consistently can be really helpful, right? Like I was listening to something the other day about grounding, and they were talking about how important it is to just do every day, right? As part of your self-care practice, as part of your meditation practice, as part of your yoga practice, whatever it is that you're doing, to make sure that you're incorporating some grounding into that. And even if you can, I know it's cold in many places, but if you can get outside and literally put your feet on the earth, that can also be helpful as a way to ground yourself, to ground your energy so that you feel more centered, more balanced, more sort of ready to take on these things that may be calling for more energy during this time of the year. So that's one really great way to keep yourself rooted and prepared. The other one is setting boundaries, right? We talked about this the other day. This is one of my favorite topics to talk about. So making sure that you are setting really clear limits with people, especially those people that pull for your energy, right? So setting super clear boundaries. So saying no as a full statement, as a complete sentence, and not feeling this urge to continue on and explain why, and maybe over-explain and kind of rationalize why. This sort of opens the door for the other person to try to push your boundary or convince you why you need to do whatever this thing is, right? And what I was talking about the other day too is being able to really map out how you want to spend your energy. All of us only have a finite amount of energy, emotional, physical, spiritual energy, right? Especially for those of us who tend to be more empathic, who tend to be more introverted. We want to be really careful about how we're spending our energy and resources. So kind of mapping out your next couple weeks, even into the new year, right? Where do I want to spend my energy? Is it particular parties with people that you really enjoy, who feel really restorative to you? Are there a couple events that you feel well, this might be a little bit draining, but I'll make space for just these 2 things because I feel like it's important to me to be there, even though I know it may be draining. Maybe you don't go to 10 events like that, right? Maybe you say no to 8 of them, but you pick 2 that you feel like you really need to be at. So the idea is mapping out how you want to use your energy. When you're going to maybe do your Christmas shopping, if that's something that's a part of your life and your world. If that's draining for you, being out in the world, out around crowds, then that is something you may need to take some downtime from the next day to really restore and build yourself back up. So being able to sort of understand your energy as a balance, as a system that you need to pay attention to, so that you can not write more checks than you can cash, so to speak, right? So like paying attention to how you want to expend your energy is going to be so important over the holiday season. To go into it with intention, right? Like this may be a possibly draining experience. So I'm going to do all I can to prepare myself for it, because let's say it's a work event or something that you can't really get out of necessarily. Although I could probably argue that maybe you could, but for the sake of argument, let's just say that you got to go to something, right? So being able to go into things with intention where you're making the choice of how you want to spend your energy. And then that really leads me into the other one, the third thing, which is a self-care practices, right? So making sure that it is just non-negotiable during this holiday season, during any times of increased busyness, increased stress, to absolutely make sure that you have that self-care routine down, whatever that looks like for you. Is it yoga? Is it meditation? Is it sitting quietly, going for a walk, connecting with nature? Is it just the discipline of cooking for yourself and preparing nourishing meals and keeping yourself healthy and feeling well? Whatever it looks like for you, stick to it, right? Commit to it. Have that as a non-negotiable part of your day, part of your week, so that you feel like you're prepared to handle whatever type of energy drain is coming your way, right? To absolutely make sure that you have your resources, your well is full as you go into these different types of situations. So I know we talked about it on my self-care video that when we're busy, we tend to let our self-care practices like fall away, right? We start eating shitty. We don't do our yoga practice. We're not meditating. We're not taking time by ourselves. We're just not restoring ourselves, right? We're not paying attention to the things that fill up our well. Maybe we feel too busy, or that we just don't have time for it, or whatever it may be. But I want to remind you that what I was trying to share during that period is that when your stress is increasing, when you feel like you have more things pulling for your attention, that is the time when your self-care practice needs to meet you there, right? That's actually a time to increase the practice, to deepen it, to make it a non-negotiable part of your day, of your week, so that you're committing to yourself, right? You can't keep going when you're not restoring yourself, particularly during this period of the year. You just can't, right? Also, for those of us that live in like a cold climate, I feel like just energetically, we're just a little bit more drained during this period. So it's important to add to your sort of self-care plan to make sure that you're having a lot of like warming, nourishing meals that are going to also feed you, so that you are really being able to fire on all cylinders during this period of time. So making sure that you're making that time for yourself in terms of your self-care, 100%. And like, one of the things I kind of want to wrap up this week talking a little bit about is like giving you some permission to like stop doing shit that you don't want to do, right? Just to some extent, right? Like, don't go to the party that you don't want to go to. Don't go to 5 parties that you don't want to go to. Don't hang out with the person that is super, super draining to you. Don't do it, right? Like, be able to be in a place where you can say no in a kind, assertive, appropriate way where you're just setting your limit, right? I think so often we feel obligated to give and to be what the other person needs us to be, and to be present when the other person needs us to be there. And certainly it can be a really powerful, beautiful thing to be with someone who needs you at a certain time. That's not necessarily what I'm talking about here, right? I'm talking about those folks that chronically are asking for things, that chronically drain you, that you feel completely depleted after you're with them, and that they're not respecting your boundaries. They're not people who listen to limits that you're setting. So being able to, identify that, and then also values yourself enough, giving yourself permission to just not do that thing, to not spend the time with that person, to just say no and move on and release the guilt that may come as a result of that, right? So I want you to really think about that, because I know that this can particularly be a difficult time to engage in that. People feel a lot of obligations, a lot of traditions that people hold on to around this time of year. And sometimes it's just stuff that doesn't serve us anymore, right? If it's stuff that's draining to you, if it's stressful to you, if it's not feeding you anymore, don't do it, right? Think about why you're doing this. Think about what is the pull, what is the draw to keep doing this. So either shift the tradition, shift and change the thing, or just stop it. Just let it go. Just know that maybe it served a purpose in your life for a period of time, and now it can just be released. Whether that's a particular tradition with a draining person, whether it's a particular situation that feels really exhausting to you, whatever it is for you, I'm giving you permission to just not do it this year, okay? So hear that, and hopefully that will resonate with some of you guys out there. And I hope that you guys love this challenge. So this is a super fun one for me. So please leave feedback, leave comments. Let me know what you thought of the videos, of the content, of the topics that we talked about. Was there something that you felt like was missing for you, or that you needed a lot more of? So just checking in about that so that we can really kind of process some of this stuff and really kind of close up the week. And then also I can get some feedback on kind of how the challenge went. And the last thing I want to talk to you guys about today is a really exciting opportunity that I'm super pumped about. I'm going to open up a few spaces for individual sessions. So this is particularly for folks out there who are feeling like they're not quite where they want to be in terms of their relationships or their career or their health, right? You're feeling somewhat stuck and you're not quite sure why. You feel like you know that there's something more that you want to get to, but you sort of need help sorting it out. And then also maybe figuring out what those things are that are holding you back from getting there. And then we'll work together to really release some of that stuff. It'll be through some journaling. It'll be through some challenging, some limiting beliefs that we may have, and really shifting our approach and shifting our thoughts. Since once we shift how we're thinking and how we're approaching a situation, the whole energy of the circumstance changes, right? So if those are things that you guys are struggling with, or those are things that you guys want to dive into and have like a one kickstart session or work together for a longer period of time, please let me know. I have a few spaces open. I think I'm going to open 4 at this point for individual sessions, for 1 hour sessions. And I'm going to send you guys some information. I'll also post it in the group as well. But if you guys are not sure if that feels like something that would be useful for you, maybe you're struggling with some stuff in your life and you're not exactly sure if this would be the right fit, just email me and we can talk about it. We can see if this would be helpful for you. Generally what I'm doing is that I'm either giving folks some journaling prompts, we're talking one-on-one, we're either talking face-to-face over the computer or over the phone. And we're really diving into some of the patterns that maybe are keeping you stuck in a place that you don't want to be. And it's often hard to identify our own patterns. It's even harder to shift out of them on our own. So if you feel like you need some help with that, with shifting our mindset, shifting our patterns, our beliefs, and moving forward so that we're closer to where we want to be, particularly in those areas of relationships, career, and health, please let me know. I'm totally excited to help some folks in here. I know we've been doing a little bit of work together in the group, but this would be really the way to kind of take that to the next level. So if you guys are interested, if you want to know more about it, I'll post some more information. And I hope that I hear from you guys soon, and have a great night and a great weekend.